I still stand by that even if you don't have any sort of big overarching storyline for this series or have some kind of great plot twist, Fena Pirate Princess is still going to stand aside from a lot of other animes just based on directing, animation, music alone. But this is my thoughts on episode 10 of Fena Pirate Princess, so let's jump right into it. But yeah, starting off this episode, we have a lot of characters that feel uneasy, but at the same time, a lot of them are excited. They have like this mixed feeling going on as they head towards where Eden should be. And when they arrive there, there's like this little small island and they feel a little bit let down, but then that's when Fena says it's coming, and then suddenly an entire island kind of erects from the ocean, this huge, massive island. And upon landing on the island, Fena starts guiding them, and it kind of hits on this idea that they are afraid that Fena is going to kind of go in that same trance she did before, but thankfully, it seems like she has her wits about her as they kind of travel through the area, and she points out the direction that she feels the calling to, eventually leading them to this forest, to this waterfall, and eventually through this cavern that has thousands of books. I think Karen mentions the idea that it could be the 100,000 lost volumes of the Library of Alexandria. They go to this area that has these tall, skyscraper-looking stone structures, which was kind of interesting. And eventually getting to this point where they get to this big door that Fena believes requires no keys. All it needs is a calling. And they have this moment where it shows Cody as well. He's kind of in the background saying the same things that Fena is. Again, kind of hitting heavy on the idea that Cody has some sort of prophetic connection to possibly Fena. And as they enter this door, obviously, that's when they find the treasure. And everybody's excited, obviously. Everybody's jumping around, swimming through it and everything like that. But Fena doesn't feel like that's where she was supposed to be. Her calling is beyond that. So with Yukimaru in tow, she ends up continuing on. At the same time, Shaitan is looking for something as well. He ends up finding this little chamber that is labeled as Yasuke. I'm assuming this is the treasure that was lost from Japan, the one that they were actually initially looking for, which I think they said contained a weapon that was able to conquer countries. So not sure what Shaitan's going to use that, if he's going to just take it back to Kei or take it to Yukihisa, or maybe he'll use it for himself. Obviously, we had a lot of hit on the idea that Shaitan believes that he doesn't have the power to protect Yukimaru, and the situation that they're in right now is that they're going against Yukihisa and Kei. He might use this weapon in order to protect Yukimaru from Kei. That's my theory that I'm going with right now. Like, this could be the direction they're going. Either he's taking it to ensure the safety of Yukimaru or possibly use it to protect him. But yeah, throughout this entire episode, we had a lot of cute little moments with Fena and Yukimaru. Obviously, she's still thrown off by this last scene in the previous episode. Some really cute little moments. Like I said, even despite having no real kind of heavy plot points, having these little cute moments with the characters themselves, it was really fantastic. Just seeing how very kind of adorable and innocent you have this Fena character just kind of being thrown off by any experience with Yukimaru, having this moment where he was going to help her down from this ledge, and she's like, no, thank you, I can handle it, and then runs off. Hey, Karen, come back, Karen. And he looks over to Makabe, and Makabe's like, I don't know, I didn't see anything. Then having this moment where they were all jumping down from this ledge, and everybody leaves Fena behind with Yukimaru, and they're like, they'll take a bit, let them have a moment together, and then Yukimaru just jumps immediately down with her. And then she just like freaks out, says, thank you, and runs off. Really cute little moments with her. But yeah, Fena and Yukimaru kind of go off on their own. They end up finding this big, huge chamber where Fena kind of points out one of the platforms, mentions the idea of the beginning. And that's where she starts at. And then she does the dance that we've seen with Helena doing. And this dance obviously hits all these key trigger points on this platform to eventually unlock it and raise up the platforms to the ceiling, where she says that that's where Eden's at. That's both the beginning and the ending. Yeah, very incredible little scene. I just, again, beautiful animation, just very elegant. Having Yuki Kaji Ura's music in the background, just the directing on it was phenomenal. Having storytelling kind of interweave within the actual dance routine as well, as you see Yukimaru kind of recalling Fena dancing on Hope. Overall, just a very beautiful scene that just has everything kind of going for it perfectly. I was just absolutely stunned by it. But yeah, that's where they kind of leave it. Of course, in the background the entire time, we have Abel and his fleet somehow managing to keep up with everybody and follow them, which, again, don't really make sense because they've established this idea that the ship that they're on is like incredibly fast, but apparently one guy spotting them off the docks is able to get a fleet put together and keep at their pace. I don't know. I kind of just hope that it's just either not explained, just let it be, or at least explain it to be maybe Cody. Because I have a theory now with Cody, because he's doing a lot of prophecies. He speaks in riddles. He often really kind of lays things out similar to what Fena is seeing in her dreams. Fena even sees a vision of this in her seeing the platforms as well, but kind of hitting heavy on Cody doing a lot of prophecies in the background. So I I guess my theory now is that Cody might be the actual son of Franz. We've already established that Fena is not an actual bloodline of the Hauptmann family, but what if Cody is? I mean, that's why Abel took in Cody, is because he knows that he is of the Franz family, or the Hauptmann family, and that he can prophesize. Because the assumption is that Franz got a prophecy. That's why he was making Helena do what she did in order to bring about Fena. It never established that Franz learned this from anybody else. He just knew it. So that would at least explain why, again, Abel brought in Cody, why Cody is prophesizing so much in the background, and it would explain why maybe if Cody knew exactly where to go, it's because he's getting the prophecy as well. The entire episode also, they kept hitting on Tsubaki having some weird thing with colors too. I don't remember them ever establishing this aspect that Tsubaki has some weird thing with colors, because they had this point where they're going to the forest and he's talking about how these colors might affect people, or these colors are the colors that can affect people. And then they get into the actual like city skyscraper area, and there's these green lights, and he's like, this is a color that can make people ill, right? And everybody's kind of, I guess, acknowledging that that's a thing about Tsubaki, and so they're keeping their distance in case he falls or something like that, or ignore him in case he falls. But I'm like, when did we establish this is a Tsubaki thing, that he has some weird thing with colors? And it was interesting that they noted that the idea that in that treasure room, that's obviously treasures from multiple countries, different coins and everything like that, struck from different countries. But yeah, just overall, a really kind of just an episode with having them travel through all these very visually pleasing locations, very visually beautiful episode. Like I said, just having this incredible dance scene at the very end that just hit all the marks just perfectly. Like I said before at the very beginning, if this show doesn't get anything for like storytelling or anything like that, it definitely has it in spades when it comes to music, directing, animation. Yeah, and even if it doesn't have a crazy overarching story or anything like that, or some huge plot twist, it at least tells a very confined and very easy to consume story of this adventure that I absolutely love. So yeah, incredibly visually beautiful episode. Really did enjoy it. Like I said, nothing really too deep to talk about besides, again, kind of getting into my theories about Cody that I'm hoping will end up coming true. Just to explain some stuff. We didn't get to see O'Malley's crew. I'm still holding that O'Malley crew is going to show up. We didn't actually see Kay either. I was actually expecting when we seen Abel that we would see Kay. I'm assuming the next episode is going to get real crazy. We're going to have Abel somehow figure out where this spot is in the waterfall. Again, hopefully led by Cody to explain things, but we'll eventually get them all coming to a head on the island, I'm sure. My theory is that this Eden's going to become a bloodbath. You're going to have, again, Kay showing up, Abel showing up. Again, I'm assuming O'Malley will show up as well, and everything's going to come to a head there, but that's my thoughts on episode 10 of Fena Pirate Princess. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. We definitely appreciate everybody that does. And there's a tip button in the description if you just want to do a direct donation to us. And y'all take care.